Senators, the second Ways and Means Committee meeting has been canceled. This is the second time in the last week. And we were supposed to have invited Courtney Keidecker, who is the director of the Department of Revenue, to that committee meeting. And we were inviting her for several purposes. One was to answer questions of why tax refunds have been delayed. Although some money has been released, we are still behind where we were 2 years ago. So here's the question. Is it a cash flow problem? Do we just not have the money in the checking account? Is someone cooking the books? What is going on? We need to have those answers. That was one of many questions we wanted to ask the director, along with, what is the problem also a personnel issue? I know within the last 2 years, there are 95 fewer people working in the department, either through attrition, early retirement, being forced out, or in some cases, being fired. We know the budget is in a mess. So what I would plead with you is, number one, make sure we get Courtney Keidecker in. We need to know why those refunds have been delayed beyond the reason that somehow it's because there's some fraud prevention measures being used that I know take about 3 days to implement. And I also know I have constituents who still have not received a refund, even though they filed those taxes 8 weeks ago. We also know that the Revenue Estimating Conference relies on the Department of Revenue's information to make projections for the budget that we have to work from. Why has that been so off for the past 2 years? We have many questions to ask, and answers are few. So I would hope that we will schedule a Ways and Means meeting in the very near future and have some of those questions answered as we move forward in these final weeks of this legislative session. What I also know is the last thing we need to do is balance the state's budget on the backs of our local governments, our schools, our cities, and our counties. If we decide that we're going to, not we, if you decide to break that promise of the backfill on the commercial property tax bill that was passed in 2013. So, senators, we have a lot of questions. We need a lot of answers.